Hey guys, welcome back to our channel and welcome to Le Mans. We're here for the 24 hours, but of course, aside from the racing, we're here to see some brand new BMWs like the BMW M, but also the BMW M2 CS. We've talked about this in the past, but today it's time to get some additional details on the car and to learn all about that. I have here with me Dirk Hacker, head of R&D at BMW M. We've talked in the past.
Yes.
Especially when new cars come out, I always come to you with a million questions, and I think that's going to be the same case today. So first, tell me the idea of this BMW M2 CS G87 compared to the F87 M2 CS, and how are they a little bit different as far as the philosophy?
I think the philosophy is nearly the same because we have started with a normal version of the M2. It's only 2 years ago in the beginning of 23. So we increased a little bit the engine power of the M2 in the last summer. But we are thinking about from the beginning for more sporty, for more focused, more performing car for the M2 CS. And it was the same, nearly the same idea we have also had with the predecessor with the F87.
Okay, so let's assume that I'm a customer for the M2 CS, which I actually am because I'm on the list to buy one. So I'm still debating, you know, what colors, maybe all of that. But if I come to you and say, okay, I have $100,000, that's how much the car cost, why should I buy the M2 CS over the regular G87 M2, which is already a pretty good car? What are some of the technical differences between the two?
I think the technical difference are this car is optimized for more performance. So if you compare the performance to the normal M2 and to the M4 CSL, it's much closer to the performance of the M4 CSL.
Okay.
So we reduce the weight, we optimize the chassis setup, we increase the power, and all this lead as a package to much higher performance in this car in comparison to the normal M2. Also with the offer of ultra-track tires, so you have the possibility to take different kinds of performance for the tires. So I think it's a big offer. And we are happy with the car very much because we think there are not a lot of competitors in this class with this offer of a rear-wheel drive car with this power and performance on the track. And we are very happy with that. And that was also the philosophy for this Porsche model.
Now, if we go into a little bit of the technical details,
yes.
What are some of the hardware changes compared to the regular M2?
Hardware changes from the engine, so we have a different setup with 530 horsepower and 650 Newton meters in comparison or in combination with the 8-speed Speedtronic. And on the chassis side, we have lower the car of about 8 millimeters, so we have stiffer springs. We have also the dampers from the CSL as a hardware, and we have a new auxiliary springs with a new technology installed in the car to combine this hardware with a shorter wheelbase than the M4 CSL to this higher performance level, especially also with a setup especially made for the tires, for the Pirelli or for the Michelin tires.
Gotcha. Now on the software side, what are some of the areas that you've changed?
It's a traction control, it's a stability control system, it's also the setup of the rear differential, the active differential. So when we take a car like that on the road, we start with the hardware changes and then we try or we optimize it lap by lap on the tracks, on the different tracks, on Nürburgring but also in the winter condition, and we adjust all the software parameters we need for the better performance of the car.
Are there any additional braces or struts under the hood or under the car compared to the regular one?
It's not a special additional one.
So basically the same. Yeah. And same thing for
the same concept.
Okay.
It's the same basic concept.
And the limited slip, the same as in the other cars?
Yes.
Okay.
It's only with a different software setup. But now, the hardware is the same one.
Gotcha. Now, when we talk about the steering, how does it compare? Because none of us has driven it yet, so you probably have, so far. How does it compare to the regular M2?
I think we are very focused also to get the right steering feedback. So we have also adjusted a little bit the camber on the front axle. So we go with more camber on the front axle. In combination with the stiffer springs, we also have to adjust the steering support, the adjustment of the software. The ratio, the gear ratio of the steering gear is the same one, but I think you can feel a different kind of steering feeling for a very good feedback and to use also the performance on the road. So it's based on the package of the normal M2, but refined and defined with new additional performance features.
Gotcha. So now the two questions that clearly, they were asked immediately when the car was released, and even when I was teasing the car quite a bit, is why no 6-speed manual option?
Yes. I think that the thing is that we are limited for the 6-speed manual option with 480 horsepower.
Okay.
That's the limit of the gearbox for our requirements for a street legal car. And with 530 horsepower and 650 newton meters, the gearbox is also limited to 550. We think it's not enough power in the engine to get this performance we want to have with the car on a lap time.
But could you have taken the already developed manual from the 3.0 CSL and drop it into this one?
Yeah, it's nearly the same one. The thing is, we have different requirements. So because I think everybody knows the 3.0 CSL is a very rare exclusive car. It will not go every day. It's not for everyday driving, also not the mileage.
Yeah.
So there we have a special commitment overall to use it there, but it's not an option for a track tool or something like that.
Okay, now the next question clear that I saw was M3 CS, M4 CS, they're all-wheel drive, xDrive, MX-drive. Why no MX-drive in this car as well?
I think the M3 and M4 CS are in a later stadium. So we have introduced M2 about 2 years ago. So we have started with a rear-wheel drive. We now offer the M2 CS, and we had a lot of time with the EOP of the car. So there could be also ideas to offer for the future an xDrive system, but there is no final decision to do that.
Okay, so that's a nice tease right there. Okay, fair enough. The other question, clearly from a design perspective, when people saw the M2 CS, I even expected it because we've been photoshopping and rendering that car, and I think we got it 99% right. The only 1% that was wrong, it was the carbon fiber at the bottom, the front lip, and also the daytime running lights in yellow, which has become such a staple CS feature, and people expected that. Technical limitations, homologations, or just expensive to do it?
No, it's a different light system and technology.
Okay.
If you take a look on the headlights, you see the M3 and M4. It's the same.
Okay.
Also in the two generations, and it's a different one in the M2. And it was a very big demand to change it. It's nearly not so easy to do that. On the other side, it's also a complete different design in the lights.
In the lights.
So we have the discussion in the past, but then we decided not to do that for the M2 CS. But I can hear that because I think I'm happy with that because when we started to introduce yellow lights with the M8,
M8, yeah.
with the M8,
First
there was
edition.
in the beginning some comments like, oh, it's like a French car.
Yeah.
In these days, I'm very happy that the yellow lights are an expression of M2, not
Or
M2,
CS.
M3 CS models,
Yeah.
but for the M2.
Yeah, because I mean that's how design icons. That's how design cues become icons sometimes, right? Because you're starting like a trend, and then it becomes that. Of course, people expect that, and clearly there was a huge expectation from people. And I would be surprised if I wouldn't see any aftermarket companies trying to retrofit that to give you like a look, because they've already done it on the regular M2. I've seen some companies out there doing it, so clearly, yeah. But now, as far as the front splitter not being carbon fiber.
Yes.
And it's this, soft plastic, or is it plastic or rubber?
Yeah, it's a combination of that.
Okay.
It's flexible. That's very important because with lowering the cars, so we need to have a flexible part in this area, not to damage a front splitter.
Okay.
So if you compare it to the M3 and M4, this car is about 8 millimeters lower based. And then if you go down to garages or something like that, then you have the risk to get into contact. And in the case we want to damage the front splitter. And also to show a different interpretation, because if you take a look on the front of the M2, that's completely different to the M3 and M4.
True.
If you take a look on the kidneys and so on, so the change in the kidneys for the CS versions of M3 and M4, you can see, but you can also see in the M2, and we think the whole face of the car is a more performing view onto the car, but I think you can see also without yellow icon lights the M2 CS.
Gotcha. Now the other comment that I saw quite a bit was, the F87 M2 CS, it was and still is a fantastic and beautiful car. People were asking why no power dome hood. And carbon fiber hood also.
I think we have had this discussion, but we decided to do it in the rear.
Okay.
So we want to show this ducktail, this new interpretation. I think that is a very, very bold and big statement. If you take a look from the rear onto the car, it's a very aggressive and dynamic view onto the car. And for this car, we decided to change more in the rear than in the front of the car.
Okay. I mean, power dome hood would have been pretty nice looking. And I'm sure that you've looked at it because, I mean, these are not new things to you. But I'm going to take some questions from the community. Will there be any M performance parts for the M2 CS?
I think we offer in these days M performance parts for the M2.
Okay.
Some of them will also to be adaptable for the M2 CS.
For the M2 CS?
But I think we have no plan in these days to offer additional CS special performance
Not
parts.
for the CS,
Yeah.
got it. Now, what about the titanium exhaust, like in the M3 and M4 CS? This one is just the regular exhaust
This is
from
the
the
regular
M2,
one. That's right.
and no aftermarket option,
There is an aftermarket option with an M performance exhaust system.
and it could be fitted to the M2 CS if people want to, or
Yeah,
yeah?
you can fit it like to an M2.
Okay,
Because there is no different in the exhaust system, you
Okay.
can also fit it to the M2.
gotcha.
CS.
And I guess it goes for the same thing. The next question was the carbon fiber front splitter in the M performance catalog, but you already answered that.
Yeah.
Any plans for other wheel choices? Probably not, because it's such a short production run, right?
From the size.
From the size now.
We are happy, very happy with this combination of 19 and 20-inch wheels. And as I've talked with the performance tires in the different setups and specifications, we are very happy and it worked quite well together. If you go with wider rims and wheels, you have less rubber on the wheels, and that is more reducing the performance, increasing the performance of the car.
Gotcha.
So we are very happy with this combination of the dimension.
Now, can you tease maybe mention a little bit about the performance of this car compared to the M4 CS and M4 CSL on the Nürburgring? Can you give you like a does it fit between them, closer to the other one?
It's very nearby. It's very nearby as the M4 CS and CSL.
Okay, so
It's much closer to this car than to the normal M2.
Gotcha. So my
In this class, with a big step to the next manufacturer.
Gotcha. Now, let me ask you this, because I have to ask this, because I know on the F87 M2 there was a CSL done, just as a one-off to kind of test it out. Could be room for a CSL on an M2? Like, does it make sense? I mean, let's start with that basically.
I think it's one of the options we can perhaps discuss in the next years, because we have started with the car 2 years ago, as I've talked about. It could be an option. The point is, what is the next big step to increase the performance? It's possible, but it's not. There's no decision to do that.
Gotcha. I mean, it makes sense because you kept mentioning the M4 CSL. So clearly, on this car, it makes in many ways even more sense on the M2 than on the M4 because of the size, and of course it's a little bit lighter. You can make it even more lighter. So from that perspective, clearly, I mean, that would be a dream come true for a lot of the enthusiasts. Having M2 CSL, especially since we never knew about the previous one, and then we saw it, and like, that was the hidden gem, in that. And then the M6 CSL, there was one also, which I didn't know. So I guess people, they're looking for that extra, more towards the Porsche type of performance, would love a CSL type, And there is room. It's only 100,000, so you can still go another 20,000 more. So these are some ideas that I'm just throwing out there. A lot of people are complaining about, just like the M4 CS and CSL and the M3 CS, the lack of cup holders in the center console, and that's an American thing.
Yeah, no.
So maybe I shouldn't say.
I can hear that.
A lot of people are going to say the Americans are complaining about the lack of a cup holder because we have those huge coffee mugs. They're about maybe this big. So why no cup holder?
I think we want to reduce the mid-console, the size of the mid-console, for better handling also of the car. I think if you go with a M2, normal M2, it depends a little bit on your dimension, your personal dimensions. With a manual, for example, there is a little bit less space, and we want to open the space for very good control, and that means you have to reduce that size. And on the other side, the only thing could be then to change, not to do for the handy.
Gotcha.
So, and we prior more to the handy possibility to fix it in the car.
Now the final question on the M2 CS, then we're going to move on to the M2 Racing, because that's an interesting topic. Actually, we want to talk about that for sure. You have a lot of new exterior color options, which are fantastic, by the way, all great. I've seen 3 of them so far. Why no additional interior options?
I think it's not a technical issue. It's more a discussion with design and so on. And we have a big process to discuss new colors, also matching into exterior. And there was no decision to do that. But you would like to have more.
I mean, it would be nice to combine instead of black. You would be nice to get a bit more expressive, because when you look at other competitors, they tend to play quite a bit with colors in the interior, and I think that's nice because a lot of people like to customize. You're spending more time on the inside, clearly, right? So a lot of people are always saying, you know, even with the previous one, why there is an additional color aside from black? And I have a 1M, and it was the same thing. It was one choice, and that's it. I always wanted maybe.
But on the other
color.
side, if you take a look on the colors we offer for the M3 and M4, with orange, with blue, with yellow, and if you take a look on the take rates, that is, I can hear that. That would be more exclusive on one side, but on the other side, the most offers are gray, black, white, and interior more a dark one. So therefore, in the M2, in these days, we are fine with that. But perhaps in the next years, it could be an idea for fresh up.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people always compare BMW to Porsche when it comes to PTS, for example, and they say, well, you know, GT3, it's a special car, but if you get a slot, you could actually do a lot of crazy colors, you know, and that was the question they've asked quite a bit about the CS models. Why can't you not open the individual program even more, charge more, of course, inside and out? Is that more of a factory limitation at this point, or still a choice?
It's a little bit a limitation of the factory. It depends on the factory. So in the different factories, we offer different numbers of special colors. And we have made the decision for the models and the production plant what we want to offer and what not.
I think you're leaving money on the table. I think a lot of people would be like, yeah, another $10,000 for this special color, I would do it for sure, you know. But something to think about.
I'm not sure with that. I think in this it's price sensitive.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it gets too expensive.
It's not so easy to put the next 5 or 10,000 on top for more special color.
Okay, makes sense. All right, let's flip to the M2 Racing, because honestly, I didn't expect such a welcome response to that car. Initially, when I heard it's a 4-cylinder, I was like, 4-cylinder, and why you chose that setup?
I think the whole story starts about more than 10 years ago, with the introduction of the M2 35 race car.
I remember.
We were very happy with them. We offer we sell more than 100 cars all over the world, most of them still racing. And what was the benefit of this car? It was a real race car. It was a race car with low running costs, and the people like to use that in special cups or on Nürburgring Endurance Series or on track days and so on. And we thought, based on an M2 or 2 Series, it is a good entry level for starting the GT pyramid.
Okay.
So below the GT4 and GT3 to offer an entry level car for young drivers, for senior drivers, gentleman drivers, and with a philosophy, easy to handle, high performance, really race car, and what I think is very important, low running costs.
Okay.
So the next generation of the M2 CS Racing was a very high performing car. So we offer it with up to 450 horsepower. So we are very close with the powertrain to the GT4 of the F82. And this car with less aerodynamics than the GT4 was a challenge. It was more because it was sharper. A lot of people like this car, but it's not so easy to drive. I know drivers, they say, it's easier for me to go with the GT4 than with this car, for example, the Nürburgring. And with the running cost, it's also not a very easy business model. And with this idea, we are thinking about what can we do for the actual generation of the M2 to offer a performing car, a car with low running cost, but also as a race car, it's a real race car for this kind of drivers. And then we have the discussion what would be the right powertrain for that. And we also remember in the past BMW also have a lot of race cars with four-cylinder engines. And we take a look on a calculation on the powertrain ability. So we will offer with 310 horsepower. And in combination with the whole package, we also make a calculation of the performance of the car, especially, for example, on the Nürburgring. And we are very happy that this car is faster than the predecessor, faster also than 230 in the end, but slower than the GT4. I think it's very good positioned in this combination. And if you take also a look on the wear of the tires and so on, that was also a big issue in the M2 CS Racing. It's a much better package overall. And we have introduced the car, we have launched it, and we have also used it for testing on the Nürburgring in NLS, for example. And the sound of the car is amazing.
How did you manage to?
It's not Verzichtserklärung. So it's not a complaint. It's a complete message. It's a big message.
And how did you manage to get that sound out of the four-cylinder? Because it's not quite easy.
It's a complete different exhaust system.
Okay.
It's more open.
Okay.
So
there's no OPF basically, so you can do.
Yeah, it's not only open. No, we have to reduce the noise a little bit for the Nürburgring.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, because we have there a different regulation for the noise, so we have to reduce it a little bit. But it sounds quite well, and it's easy to drive, but very fast on the racetrack.
So if I buy the car in America as a privateer, can that sound be turned up?
Yes, it's not a switch. It's additional hardware.
Oh, just additional hardware. Gotcha. You just remove the. Okay.
But
It's good to know.
It's a nice one in combination with a 7-speed gearbox. On the car, we have also some high-speed measurements on Nürburgring. We go up to 270 kilometers per hour. So it's a very nice baby.
Yeah, we have to see how we can make it happen so I can drive that car because I'm quite excited to see what it can do. Now, as far as the running costs, have you done any calculations how much lower than the GT4? Like, let's say, like, if you, I mean, I know there are a lot of variables, but if you were to compare the running costs for a team for a season, do you have a percentage that maybe you can share?
Around about half.
Half, really?
Yeah,
okay.
about that.
Gotcha. And who do you think will buy the car? Like, which kind of championship do you think the car will run into? Will run in?
We are thinking about to introduce M2 Cups like in the past.
Okay.
For example, like on a platform like DTM, it's not decided yet.
Sure.
This is one point. The other point is Nürburgring for the Endurance Cup. I think we will have a lot of demand on that because if you have a class of your own with a bigger number of participants, you have a very good chance also in the total result to come to the top. That will be a lot of people. I think we will also see a lot of them on track day because the cost it's in between the normal M2 and the M2 CS, and that I think is it's a very nice package also for private driving on private circuits or track days.
What kind of support do you offer to someone that buys the car?
The point is you don't need a lot of offer because the car can be serviced also at normal BMW tools.
Okay.
So, and it's easy to handle. It's very easy to handle. You have to take a look on the service intervals, but it's also more like a street legal car and not like a race car where you have to do it very sensitive. So I think it's overall a very good offer for going on a racetrack, not on public roads.
Do you think there is a particular market that will take more units of this one compared to others?
I don't think so. No, we have a lot of interest also from Asia for the car. We know a lot of people are very interested in the car. We have shown it some events before, and I think we start now also to do more concrete discussions for introducing cups and so on. I think there is no a big difference in the market.
Gotcha. So the first outing is next weekend, the 24 hours of Nürburgring, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
how many teams are running?
One.
Just one team?
One car, one team, but 3 pro drivers and 1 journalist.
Cool.
And I think they are very happy with the car because they go also during all the development. So Jens Klingmann joined the team from the beginning on.
Nice.
He was involved in the setup and all the testing aspects. And we have done more than 30,000 kilometers with the car, endurance testing on tracks all over Europe. And the other guys, they go on the qualifier 24-hour race in May. And they're also very happy to go on wet condition, on dry condition. And we will see next week.
Perfect. Well, Dirk, thank you so much for all the details. I know that I'm always asking a million questions, but they come through my mind quickly and then I need to address all of them. But I'm sure we'll have a chance to chat in the future on other stuff. So always thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you very, very soon.